A door stands half open. Footsteps pause because no line is posted. That hesitation is the first respect you earn. Without boundaries, they walk your interior, mapping moods and pricing time. Machiavelli would remind you that people follow power and penalties. Charm without consequence is an unlocked gate. You think you're generous, you broadcast clearance. You mistake being chosen for being understood. Post the cost of entry or expect trespass sold as love. When pressure rises, niceness leaks shadow. Jung would say disowned anger bends you toward appeasement. Explanations stack, replies stretch, and the attention economy trains constant reachability. Mystery drains through pings, cadence collapses into chase. On a chessboard, every impulsive move surrenders tempo. Initiative migrates to the other side. Call it connection. The ledger records exposure. Polite availability purchases short-term approval while mortgaging long-term regard. The mask smiles, but the gate stays open, inviting tests that grow bolder. Respect begins where access ends. Limits create contour, and contour carries value across dating dynamics and work alike. Nietzsche argued that the strength to deny frames desire. A soft no reads as try harder. A firm schedule reads as standard. Masculine sovereignty needs cost. Individuation requires terms enforced when inconvenient. Speak less and enforce more. The fortress becomes language enough. If you don't set the line, someone else scripts your role. Machiavelli is the lens. You win respect by signaling credible consequence, not by promising harmony. You are measured by the lines you enforce. Love is a mood. Penalties are policy. When access is rationed, curiosity rises. When access is free, appetite dulls. You think words can rescue weak structure. They cannot. Boundaries in relationships work like a guarded throne. Posted terms speak louder than charm, and the guard is your consistency. Under incentives, people test for cost. You stop selling softness and start pricing access. Kierkegaard would add that you become what you choose repeatedly. You choose your calendar, and your calendar chooses your life. Response time is a status cue. You imagine availability equals care. You teach cheapness by being reachable. Princes rationed audiences to concentrate prestige. Guilds limited entry to protect standards. Roman legions enforced camp rules, so order survived victory. Do the same. Mission first, talk. Scarcity creates selection, and accepted friction becomes your filter. This is masculine sovereignty practiced, not performed. Lacan noted that desire follows lack and limit. If your time carries no price, attention becomes noise. Ration presence. Speak less and schedule more. Replace reactive chat with a weekly cadence. In modern dating dynamics, a reliable plan outranks persuasion. You set terms so trust can form, not to punish. You own your signals because reputation management begins with enforcement. To see why words fail, you have to see the trap you keep walking into. Honeyed words are counterfeit leverage when your shadow is doing the negotiating. You promise ease, over-explain, and hope approval will buy safety. Jung would say, disowned anger flips into people-pleasing. The mirror shows a smile stretched thin while resentment bargains off stage. In the attention economy, chasing devalues you with every ping. You think clarity is kindness. You flood the channel until mystery evaporates. You mistake being chosen for being respected. Tests multiply because talk advertises flexibility. The mask sells warmth while your schedule sells nothing. You teach that access is cheap, and cheap things invite handling. Nietzsche would warn that a yes without a no is a weakness in costume. You rehearse speeches, and the test becomes the script. Long texts read like bargaining, marathon calls telegraph need. In modern dating dynamics, debate signals insecurity, while calibrated distance reads as center. The chess fork is simple. Appease and lose respect, refuse and risk loss. Choose refusal when terms are lopsided. You do not control attraction, but you control your standard. Individuation requires the courage to let silence stand as answer and to maintain boundaries without apology, under pressure and time. Machiavelli cared less for vows than for enforcement. Promises without consequence invite boldness from some people under certain incentives. Flatterers at court collapsed when patronage thinned. Commanders who begged for loyalty lost troops. Merchants who extended credit without terms bred default. Reputation management begins with predictable rewards and penalties. Speak less, shorten response windows, move plans to the calendar. This is masculine sovereignty strategy, not sin. Responsibility, not blame. You stop arguing and start pricing access. Leverage beats love when choices conflict. If you're trapped, it's because you volunteered for the role. You signed more than you said. The page looked blank, yet your behavior filled every clause. Jung would say, anima fantasies push you to overinvest in harmony. You apologize first, text twice, and rehearse speeches that soothe no one. In dating dynamics, the mask smiles while your boundaries dissolve. You teach pace by giving more after every delay. You mistake being chosen for being understood. Apprentices who wanted titles before trials did the same, and courtiers bought crumbs with silence. Kierkegaard would note that what you choose under dread still binds. You chose open hours. You chose maybe later. You chose to let ghosting pass because you oversupplied attention and feared the bill. Situationships flourish where terms are none. The attention economy rewards whoever refuses to price his time. At work, just this once, welcomed scope creep. At home, clarifications replaced standards. You do not need louder speeches, you need posted costs. Enter the forge. Fewer promises, shorter replies, measured presence. Machiavelli cared about credit that exists in public, not intent whispered in private. A contract without penalties is a rumor. Knights who yielded ground to avoid offense lost the field. Merchants who extended credit without terms bred default. You trained some people to read your softness as a budget. Reputation management begins when the clause is enforced. Speak less, calendar more, and let consequence carry meaning. Set terms in plain language and keep them when it costs you time, comfort, or attention. That is adult leadership. Now see the paradox. What attracts is the same thing your words keep killing. Warmth without structure flatters the moment and starves the future. Machiavelli says, mercy only holds when force is visible. You mistake endless softness for virtue. It reads as inventory. When your schedule has no edge, curiosity decays. Boundaries are the sheath that makes the blade desired. Be warm, but price access. A plan beats persuasion. Time beats a speech. In dating dynamics, open hours advertise low rank. You are not cold, you are calibrated. When kindness meets a standard and consequence, respect appears, and desire returns deliberately, steadily. Nietzsche would remind you that value climbs with cost. Cheap abundance dulls appetite, earned presence sharpens it. Slow replies with steady plans signal center, while marathon texts spill status. Short calls, clear logistics, and kept promises produce polarity. You mistake being chosen for being understood. You are understood when terms survive pressure. Masculine sovereignty is not theater, it is rhythm. Post the price and pay it first. Then warmth lands as privilege, not wallpaper. Across work and boundaries, the economy of speech protects momentum. Lacan observed that desire needs an edge. Mystery is not vagueness, it is contour. The throne is inviting because not everyone sits. Monasteries welcomed travelers, yet rules stayed firm. Masters praised apprentices while grading hard. Offer attention that ends on time. Keep a quiet, private life that individuals can sustain. Speak less, decide more, and let distance breathe. You can be generous yet scarce, gentle yet unmovable. Knowing the paradox is nothing unless you're willing to pay its cost. You raise lines and the weather changes. Friends go silent, invitations thin, and the room feels colder because the hearth was built from your overavailability. Nietzsche would say, becoming requires leaving the old herd. You stop performing warmth on demand, and some people read your distance as contempt. They miss the version of you that never billed his time. In dating dynamics, the audience shrinks when tickets are no longer free. That contraction is selection, not failure. Hold your stance when the seat's empty. The abyss is only air and height. It cannot push. Jung would argue that integrating shadow feels antisocial at first. You speak less and keep more promises. You resist rescuing, and shame crackles like wind on embers. The mirror shows a steadier spine and a smaller crowd. Individuation requires separating appetite from mission while guarding scarce focus in the attention economy. You will be called selfish for choosing sleep, for leaving early, for declining vague plans, for prioritizing training over chat. You are not cruel, you are exact. Winter is clarity, wearing cold light. Machiavelli warned that reforms create enemies among those who profited before. Expect sarcasm, bait, and nostalgic pleas for the old you. Reformers were isolated by allies. Officers who ended perks were shunned. Guilds expelled craftsmen before mastery elsewhere. Fewer DMs, algorithm dips, and accusations of arrogance are weather reports, not verdicts. Price access, shorten replies, and keep steady plans. This is masculine sovereignty in practice strategy, not sin, responsibility, not blame. If you can truly stand the weather, you can build the city, forge your week around a center. Jung would call this individuation, ordered living from the core rather than audience weather. Start with the calendar first, chat second. Set office hours for calls and end them on time. Write standards once and honor them daily. Sleep, training, focused work, then social. Boundaries are posted, not discussed. You think flexibility buys goodwill, it buys drift. You mistake being chosen for being respected. Guard scarce focus from the attention economy with simple gates. Time blocks, do not disturb, and planned disclosure. Reputation is not a promise, it is enforcement on schedule. Machiavelli would say, consistency is the guard at the door. Price access with response windows and keep them. Decline vague invitations. Propose a clear alternative or pass cleanly. Practice selection by deselection. Low-effort contacts fall away while reliable ones concentrate. In dating dynamics, a short call and a set time outrank paragraphs. The chess endgame is quiet but decisive. Advance one square, hold the file, repeat, talk less, ship more. Let your calendar speak. Kierkegaard argued that you become what you repeat under pressure. Repeat the chosen self. Keep the mile when tired, the bedtime when tempted, the boundary when mocked. Convert vows into routines so standards survive moods. You think explanation earns quiet respect. Delivery does. Publish your terms once, then live them. When you slip, correct without apology, and continue. Masculine sovereignty grows by keeping appointments with yourself and others. Boundaries without respect for women become mere walls. Integration changes the air itself. See women not as opponents but as selectors. Evolutionary psychology notes that female choice tracks reliability, investment, and believable cost. When your boundaries are visible and calm, selection becomes easy. The unreliable disqualify themselves. You mistake being chosen for being understood. You are understood when your habits forecast safety. In dating dynamics, a simple plan and punctuality outperform vows. The mirror asks one question: are you consistent when no one is watching? Lacan observed that desire needs contour, not constant exposure. You keep intrigue by measured disclosure, enough presence to be known, enough distance to breathe. Mystery is not manipulation, it is respect for limits. Speak clearly, then let silence do work. Algorithms cannot. In the attention economy, scarcity protects signals. You are not withholding, you are curated. Individuation means guarding the private room, where standards are forged, not streamed. Machiavelli prized treaties with terms. Treat desire like a treaty. Language, costs, predictable follow-through. Alliance grows where credibility is public. You lead with masculine sovereignty when the calendar, not feelings, sets the pace. Offer warmth inside a frame. Kindness lands as privilege, not negotiation. Salons favored disciplined contributors. Patrons backed composers. Write standard, live it, and let selection do the sorting. If you would lead an alliance, act like a builder. Build a life that makes persuasion obsolete. Machiavelli knew stable rule rests on institutions, not speeches. You build institutions at human scale. Morning discipline, quarterly artifacts, visible standards. The throne is earned by routine. Post terms, enforce quietly, calmly. Let boundaries shape desire and free attention for work. Craftsmen gained esteem by seasons of output, athletes by cycles kept, thinkers by books, not chatter. This is masculine sovereignty measured in kept appointments, not applause. Nietzsche would tell you to become worthy of the standard you declare. Cost creates value. Make the cost real. Schedule first, then speak. In dating dynamics, set a clear time, keep it, and end on time. Quarterly artifacts beat daily explanations. Short calls, simple plans, kept promises. Guard the private room where individuation hardens. You think intensity equals commitment. Consistency is commitment. Reduce updates. Raise shipped work. The attention economy rewards noise, then discards it. Your mission rewards quiet, then compounds it. Kierkegaard reminds you that you choose yourself by repetition. Choose sleep, training, and deep work on unimpressive days. Write standard operating procedures for relationships and craft. Live them when tired. Use selection by deselection. Low-effort invitations fall away. Reliable ones remain. Say no as routine maintenance. You speak less because structure speaks for you. Output, not please. Terms before talking. Walk the edge long enough, and persuasion retires in the glow of what you built.